back to Laser Pen Games. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Poison Malice Necro in Diablo 2 XL Sigma. And this one was definitely rough. Let's get into, I guess, the skills first. Okay. So, obviously we're going to start with the Malice skills here. Ended up maxing out Funeral Pyre as a secondary ability, which is fire damage. Main ability I'm using is Rotting Flesh, which is big poison damage. And then I basically ended up putting one in Boneyard, and a few in Nightwalker, which we'll come back to. And then one in Pestilence as well. But I'll explain a bit more to that. So we didn't put anything in the melee or crossbow. And then we went just to the support skills. Maxed out Embalming for extra life and mana regen. One in Sacrifice, one in Death Pact, one in Bane, and then maxed out Death Ward for basically some kind of defense and avoiding damage. Basically some kind of survivability, but we'll find out that it's not enough. So you'll see here with Death Pact, you don't have to increase the level because it only gives you more physical damage. But you'll notice there's a passive synergy for putting extra points in Malice skills will give you more spell damage, up to a max of 150%. So this is where you're basically going to have a choice here. So in reward skills, I'm just having one in Talon's Hold, and I actually ended up maxing out Jin, because this is going to give us enemy elemental resistances minus the 25% at the current level of 10 that I have it right now. So it's going to help us do a bit more poison damage. But you'll see that you can also you can just put 1 point in Jin, and if you want to just put more points in Nightwalker, you can do that instead. It just depends. But it seems like the cast speed is not really a big deal. We're gonna have enough cast speed through other means anyway. So I mean, you're just basically any extra point in Malice is gonna give you more spell damage anyway through Death Pact. So if you had extra points, putting them in any other skill is fine. But also Nightwalker's going to give you more bonuses than the other two skills you're not really using as a passive ability. I don't have anything in Graveyard because it's just more poison damage that doesn't stack with what we're already doing. And the other two summons are basically part of summon builds, so we're not really going to bother with them. Alright, for stats, this is where it's going to be a little bit weird here too. So I definitely have armor that has a high strength right now. I think I put in -2 requirement, but I ended up wasting a lot of strength just to wear some of my gear, which was probably bad. I think it's just only the armor too, so I think I would go with just a lower strength requirement armor, still for using the shrines to craft, because the extra strength is just such a waste of stats. You see, I ended up putting quite a bit of points into dexterity as well to wear my diadem, because it's again ridiculous amount. I got -34% requirements with my jewels alone, just to bring it down to 346, because it's over 500 dexterity required diadems, but you don't really get any great Necromancer helmets unless you're just going to use some of the set helmets. There's not really a lot in the rune words or anything else, and then you can try and use some sacred uniques, I guess, but I just didn't end up having one, so I ended up doing a crafted. There's 3 all skills, and a bunch of extra poison, obviously. Crafting with shimmering shrines. It seems like I don't have very much vitality, which I don't, so I definitely want to get more as I would get more signets of learning. I'd crank up my vitality to get over 10k life, and then keep putting more energy as well for damage. So that's where you'll see some wasted stats, is that I should be having these points in vitality and energy, and I'm wasting them in strength and dexterity right now. For gear, so I'm going to be using a weird weapon here, which is Styx, rune word. And I didn't bother putting it in a I guess sacred. I do have 2 sacred marrow staves, but there's no point. I mean, you're not you don't really care about the weapon damage in any way. So if you could put it in a marrow staff 1, I mean, you could just reduce the requirements, whatever you're making for rune words for wands or staffs. You don't really need the extra requirement, as it'll just help you wear the rest of your gear more easily to get the stats. So you can see here, this gives 12 to Necromancer skills, base spell damage, so it's everything, and I added more poison spell damage. Getting a warp armor, which is pretty nice. It gives you more chance to avoid damage. The 29, I think you can get up to 32 to Abyss and up to 32 to Plague Editor on this staff, but they're both pretty much worthless. The other thing that's bad about this staff is you'll see it's giving -3 to maximum Necromancer minions, so it's only going to let me summon 1 Djinn at a time now, which is probably not the greatest either. So it's kind of really limiting, but I wanted to try it out anyways. So it's still, the rest of the stats are still pretty good, but I'd probably recommend trying out some other stabs instead, or a few other rune words. But I went with it anyway. I put in a bunch of spell damage jewels and a bit of cast speed, a bit of extra life. But this will be the staff I'll be trying out. We got just a rare amulet, +4 all skills, some extra poison damage, some rare rings with extra poison damage as well. I'll just be using Vile Hand, which is it's gonna give us poison skill duration, which is gonna increase our poison damage a bit, and then also we're getting more spell damage. Just filled it with law runes, so just same as the moon wrap here, just pretty simple. I put the law runes in the gear, so any gear you can equip first is where you're going to want to put your, if you're putting in runes to increase your stats, also you want them in the lowest, so this only requires 64 strength also, because it's just a tiered unique, and it's going to help me be able to wear the rest of my gear quicker if I'm putting the runes into those. I got some crafted. You're gonna want, I mean, mine aren't very good, but also you can get crafted boots with 2 to necro skills on it, and I've been using shimmering shrines for that as well. The armor here, I ended up putting just some more spell damage jewels, just to see what it did. But maybe in the end you might want to just run runes and just pump your energy up and get spell damage that way. Just depends how good of jewels you can get. These ones are not the best, but at least gotta pile extra stats as well. Guess I've got some magic find. But I think that's it for the Okay, I'll take a look at the other one. So this is kind of a cool thing. You can get it on a staff, a Necromancer staff, or I believe you can roll it on Necromancer, like to shield the heads as well. So, well, not that's a I have a few to reroll, but so you're gonna get the skill called Hone for, and it's gonna let you drop a circle on the ground that you can stand in to do more. Yeah, I'll go cast it. So this is the secondary you're going to want. So you're going to drop this circle, and then you switch weapons, and you'll be able to stand in the circle to do more damage. So basically what it does is it increases your cast speed 150%, mana regeneration rate of 300%. I'm not sure how the minion damage works. If the minion has to be staying in a circle, or if you're staying in the circle, do your minions get an extra 200% damage? It's pretty sweet. And they're 200% to energy factor. So while you're standing in that circle, you're going to get a big buff to your spells. Unfortunately, you have to stand in the circle, so if something comes to kill you, you're going to have to move, because you're Necros are really squishy. Especially since I'm not using a shield, which is probably hurting me big time here. Getting a shield with some more toughness on it and having the chance to block would definitely increase my survivability. But we're gonna see you're gonna see some problems. A lot of the same problems that I actually ran into with the boson, where since my main damage is poison, you gotta wait, so it doesn't stack at all. So casting it multiple times is really not gonna help. And that's why I tried to avoid all the other poison skills as well. And I avoided the... you'll see here. So someone had left a comment on one of my other videos that they wanted to see a Pestilence build, and this is basically meant to add to the melee build. So maybe in the future I will try it out, but basically you'll see that the strength and dexterity bonus to increase the damage, but it's a spell. So you're basically, if you're already a melee build where you have a ton of strength and dexterity, this is just a nice added bonus that you can just add a bunch of poison damage while you're already in melee anyways. But when you're a spellcaster, you don't want the short range. Not only is it short range, but you don't want to be putting extra points in strength and dexterity as a caster, and your energy will be shit. Plus you won't be able to use any of it. So all the other spells in the Malice tree have energy increased damage bonus. So you won't be able to use any of the other necro skills if you try to make a Pestilence build. So you definitely should be adding that to the melee build, which I might, actually I'll end up trying it in the future, and we'll see how it works. The other skill that I avoided was the Boneyard, because you'll see it does physical and magic damage, which is nice, but you'll see in the big red letters that the initial target takes no damage. So once you're down to only fighting one mob, you're doing 0. You're not doing any damage at all. So that's total shit. So we're just basically gonna go like ahead with Rotting Flesh and Funeral Pyre. We're gonna go into cows here and probably get slaughtered because we are extra squishy. Even though the staff says it's -3 to max necrominions again, so I'm still gonna be able to summon 1 Jinn here. But hopefully your build is gonna be using if you try it, using a shield and a one-handed wand or some other kind of weapon instead for more survivability. And then what I'm going to do here is, see, that's the tough thing too, is that when I put up the circle, I have to run anyways, and I can't stand in it or I'll get slaughtered. Well. So that really didn't work out very well, but I'll try and stand in it this time. So basically what I'm doing is just spamming rotting flesh once, and while they're poisoned and taking damage, because I spam funeral pyre. And funeral pyre seems to do decent damage, so I'd imagine if you focused on fire damage instead of poison, you might have an easier time. But I definitely wanted to try out another poison build. But I'm not really impressed with this at all. There we go, I'm dead again. So you can see I'm just very squishy, even like though I have two different skills to avoid damage. I'm still basically just dying, no like nothing. I have a very tanky mercenary, and I guess I can show you what he's wearing. I think King will probably slaughter me here. I have enough money to resurrect my guy. I think I need 50k. I'll still kill King, but it just... I think he's attacking my Jin, which is... if you have more Jins too, they'll tank a little bit better. Oh, wow, what the hell? So the problem with Funeral Pyre 2 is that you're basically... you gotta try and attack a mob that's not moving. So if you don't have a mercenary tank or something else, you're gonna oh shit, get right. You're not gonna be able to hit your target. So I mean, there's a ton of problems with this build, but I wanted to do it anyway. See if I can get some money here to get back my mercenary. Oh, before I see. So I got the poison off, and it's actually, look at, see, so a ton of these cows are actually going to die after, because in Media XL, your poison damage doesn't bring it to 1, it actually will kill the target. So I guess if eventually you'll kill everything by just casting the poison and dying yourself and coming back, and then whatever you hit, because you're doing, you know, a decent amount. I think I'm doing like 50k, right? 51 up to 51k poison damage, which is not, you know, not bad. It's not like a bad amount of damage. It just takes 3 to 4 seconds to do that damage, and by that time I'm already dead myself. Alright, let's get my mercenary back and see if he'll... I'm going to show you what I actually have on him, which is some really easy rune words. So if you're trying to build a tank, I'll say you want to build again the Act 2 bear, which I'm using right now, or the barb mark from Act 5. And the easiest thing to do is, so Zar is any weapon, and it's going to give them 20 to 25% more life. Same, and the epicenter is going to give them 10 to 15% more life, which is another rune word. And then you can do a Zis version of this, which will be up to 25% more life. Using True Spelt for physical resist, and the same with Knee for physical resist armor. So I think my mercenary has like 27% physical resist right now. And then Brem's Retribution, it's just another max health item here. You're gonna get another 10% max health for your mercenary. The rest of it, also you can just fill it with. And then I'm using Athelua's Oracle for attack speed, bonus attack ring. Cannot be frozen is pretty nice as well. And then Torque's Gift is going to give your mercenary a stun attack and a freeze as well. So let's see if he'll fight the king. Because without, I mean, if he's tanking, wait, where'd King go? Did King just die? Maybe the mercenary's stronger than me. It's quite possible. The mercenary's stronger than I am. Get him, bear. Oh, don't hide in the corner. I can't fight these guys. Stun him, bear. So, I mean, I'll see this might be better if you play it with, if you're playing with a friend that has a tankier build, and you're going full. I can recommend going fire instead, actually, with the poison, using poison as a secondary, because you have to wait on the damage and you can't really spam it, which I really hate, honestly. But that's pretty much it, I think, for the Poison Malice Necro. A lot of problems, honestly. Hopefully they fix it in the future, so you can make it work. But right now, I would not recommend this build. Like if you poison version anyway. You could try fire version. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next video. Hello everyone who made it to the end of the video. This is Laser Pen Games, reminding you to smash that like button, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps out. And if you're looking for even more content, check out my Patreon here, where I post exclusive video content every month, and you'll have access to all of that.